in the future.
Yeah. So basically that, and I think 2012, I think we had Google Plus, for example. Google Plus said that we will run over Facebook. Something like that. So competition, definitely. Yeah. And that of course will I mean, if there are strong competition, the future cash flows will go down and the value of the firm will go down. Yeah.
And this we have strong competitive advantage or differentiation compared to competitors. So we know where to position ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And what do you think was Facebook's competitive advantage at the time?
Actually, the data they have collected at the startup stage is very good that it can be used, that they can segment their audience and that they can target them in more advertisement, which will generate revenue. And the other thing, the addition of new services like the marketplace, like the chatting, they are keep adding and improving their service to keep different compared to their competition. And starting early, it has given them a value of the data they gather.
Yeah, so if we go back to 2012, because 2012 they did not have a marketplace, but what you're saying is that Facebook was able to direct the advertising in a way that no one else could done at the time.
Yeah, that's
yeah, especially compared with like traditional media, like broadcasting, newspapers and stuff like that. Facebook has data, and they could actually push out different types of advertisements to different types of people, depending on their interests and so on. So, except from competition, is it something else? Do you think are uncertain about calculating the future values?
It's like another competitive advantage of the network effect.
I mean, going back to competitive advantage, networks effects are increasingly important for digital businesses. Facebook at the time, if you have friends and if you try to get the momentum up where your friends are on a certain type of platform and you have not yet access social media, you sign up to the Facebook platform because that's very sizable. So network effects are important in order to create competitive advantage. But yeah, going back to this future cash flows, do you think there are other types of uncertainties in order to calculate this? Yeah.
I mean, they are quite dependent also on the number of people who think it's trendy and to be on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it could also affect how people will stay there and keep using it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, things are going in trends. Perhaps, I mean, when Facebook were growing, and I think that's in the case as well. I mean, when everyone is on Facebook, for example, and even your teachers and your family and so on, I mean, it might not be that friendly. Okay? So then people might go to something else. Yeah, exactly. And even these things with competition, I mean, it might come competition and new technologies that might enable different types of interactions that Facebook did not have at the time. Yeah.
The shift from desktop to mobile is able to impact the ad revenue in a negative way.
I think that's a great comment, and it's not in the case. Facebook did not write about it at the time. Financial Times did not think about it, but I think that is actually the key factor why Facebook's future cash flow actually became much higher. Because in 2012, almost 100% of the users use Facebook on the computers. So yeah, that's a very important factor for Then of course, I mean, the growth of the customers. I mean, at the time they had 900 million users. We must raise that increase in future. How much advertisements do we get from these new customers or new users? So there are a lot of differences that might impact them. But as you said, I think what they did not really think of was that when Facebook launched the mobile platform, I think it was 2014, people started to use Facebook much more than using desktop computers. And they earned far more advertisement revenues on the mobile platform compared to the desktop computer. And then I think there are some other things that are important to mention. That's what you said. I mean, at the time in 2012, most of the revenues in terms of advertisements was based in traditional media. Okay. In 2012, it was still mostly based on doing ads in broadcasting, newspapers, and so on and so forth. Of course, we had Google. Google was the biggest digital provider, and where people most did their advertisements at the time. But I mean, today, 8 years later, people spend much more advertisements on digital platforms than on traditional media. So that was important. Can you see any downsides of Facebook? I mean, even today, are there any downsides that might impact the future value of Facebook? Yeah.
There is a lot of noise from the advertisement, and also from maybe excess friends.
Yeah. Something else? Yeah.
I think it was quite interesting one sentence in the case where they stated that Facebook is not as important in life in general or at workplaces as, for example, Google or Apple, which they compared it to. And that makes it vulnerable to other types of social networks like TikTok, Instagram. Now, of course, acquired Instagram, but Snapchat and etc. I mean, I think there's a large trend now that younger and younger people don't have Facebook and they have turned to, I think, Snapchat and Instagram instead. So that could be a big problem for them because then they lose sort of the gains from the network effects and their dominant position.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, looking at Facebook today, even I think that, I mean, how much more can they grow the user base? And I think you're correct. And I think that's the reason for why they have launched this. And also why Facebook is quite
Another point of data security. Cambridge Analytica, and I think they have many topics.
Yeah. So the data aspect, not only in terms of security, but in terms of data protection of the users. And I think in the future there will be new legislations, perhaps, on how firms can use the data and users. Facebook has already been used Cambridge to use data to other firms. And in terms of regulation, I think that European Commission and antitrust laws in the US are looking into many of these digital companies in terms of and there are some other famous cases where the government actually has gone in and broken up the company. So all the old oil companies in the US, for example, 1 and 2, and then it became that might happen. So I think that perhaps we should stop discussing the Facebook case, and I will provide you with some information on how you can use financial performance in your project, and basically different type of steps that you can do in order to conduct and create a new strategy. But before we end this, I mean, and as you can read in the book, I mean, another thing and another way to value a company is by option value. I think that initially, when all the venture capitalists invested in Facebook, they did not have any revenues at all. I mean, they were valued for billions, but they did not have any revenue. So then they invested in Facebook as an option value. An option to do something in the future. And I think that's the same thing with Facebook today. I mean, given that they have the name of Facebook, they are very famous. I mean, they could add on other things as well, which they did before 2012, because they had these third-party applications. There is also an option value. So if you have a big platform, you can add on more. So, what really happened? Well, they were introduced for $38, if I are informed, or if I remember correctly. But so soon after that, they went down to $18 the year after, because the earnings were started to decline, that we could already see when they actually did their IPO. But then they launched a mobile platform somewhere around here, and it's a decent performance. I looked this morning, and the stock price is 341. Was 341 this Friday, so it's almost 10 times the amount in 8 years, 9 years. So it's a pretty decent performance. Okay, so. Before I talk about the framework that you can use in the project, I will just go back to the last session and what we talked about. So we said that strategy is the link between the internal environment of the firm, with the first resources and capabilities, so that actually need to implement the strategy and so on. With the fit with the external environment, with the users, and in order to create a successful strategy, there must be a really strong fit between what you can do, what you want to achieve, and the external environment. In that case, you can create a successful strategy. If there are not a great fit between what the firm can do and the external environment, you are not likely to adopt a successful strategy. For example, if you misjudge the external market, or if you have a strategy that you want to create a lot of stuff, you want to reach somewhere, but you're not able to reach that position because you don't have the resources and capabilities to do so. And we also said that strategies is about trying to achieve a certain type of goals that the firm has, and that actually implies that the activities and decisions that you are doing there has to be some consistency and cohesiveness of the decisions and actions over time, so that they are building on each other. And I think that's the strong part with actually having a strategy, because if you don't have a strategy, it's very difficult to have a consistency in your work. And I briefly talked about how strategy has evolved. I mean, 30, 40 years ago, it was more about planning. Today, it's more about strategy as guidelines to achieve something. And that you can use for in order to achieve it. What we also said that, and I did not have that much time, but there are two different types of areas in relation to strategy. The first is that strategy in a firm, if you're a bigger corporation, we usually have different types of divisions, competing in different types of areas. And one part of the firm strategy is, how should we try to allocate resources between these different divisions? Should we actually compete in all these markets, or should we divest some of the businesses, or should we even expand and invest in new businesses? That's things that are related to something that are called corporate strategy. And corporate strategy is related to those people that are usually sitting in the company headquarters that are taking these type of decisions. And then we have another type of strategy, which is, and usually when people talk about and you read about strategy, what people usually mean is business strategy. Business strategy it's much more specific, it's much more focused, because it's all about trying to achieve competitive advantage for one specific type of business. So if we take, for example, Volvo Group, which have trucks, construction equipment, both elements. Business strategy is related to one part of these businesses. So, for example, Volvo Trucks. Then they try to implement a business strategy to achieve competitive advantage over its competitors. For example, M&A and so on and stuff like that. And it's all about how do we actually beat our competitors? How do we become more profitable than our competitors? Without doing the same things that we are competing with the same type of products. So I'll skip that. So again, trying to link financial performance with strategy analysis. So do you know who this is? So this is the former CEO of Volvo Group. And what do you think about Volvo's performance? So 2009 was the financial crisis. So most people struggled. And then Volvo recovered quite well. And then suddenly you see. But what do you think? How is the performance of Volvo? So do you think it's good? In 2013, they had an operating margin of 2.9%. Before taxes and before depreciations and stuff like that. It's very bad. Yeah, it's very bad. I think Volvo today has almost around like 20%. 2.9 is really bad. If you have a return of 2.9% in 2013, I mean it's equal the same as instead using the cash and get interest from the bank. It's not a good performance. So if you want to understand how firms are performing, how do you know if a firm is performing good or badly? And how do you actually try to find out the sources of the poor or good performance? I mean, what would you do? So what I wanted to do is that I wanted to discuss with you seat member for about 5 minutes. I mean, how do you know if a firm is performing good or bad? Well, what do you typically look at? Okay, so please discuss that and we'll discuss it.
How are you?